You could hear it fine, right? It's good? Okay. We need to watch this. This cheating bullshit is really getting out of hand, guys. Like, speedrunning is just going insane. It's just insane with the whole cheating thing. There's been so much videos about speedrunners being caught cheating. This other big Mexican YouTuber guy that Carl Jobs made a video on that pretended to do a speedrun of any percent Super Mario Bros. And it was like the most obvious fake shit. Like, what are people doing? You know? And now there's this obvious cheater fakes blindfolded Mario 64 speedrun reacted to by a Mario 64 speedrunner myself, Cheese. Okay, so I'm guessing by just watching this guy's gameplay and his reaction to him playing, I would immediately know if he's actually cheating or not. From just what a top runner watching this person, we could tell if something is fishy or not. And, well, let's see. Let's go ahead.
Despite the immense popularity of Super Mario 64 speedrunning, there is a comparatively small amount of people running the blindfolded categories, a testament to how difficult blindfolded speedrunning really is. And so it was surprising when I was on Twitch this week and was notified of another runner doing blindfolded 16-star runs. Blindfolded runs of Super Mario 64 have recently been made popular by a small but extremely dedicated group of runners. However, there are clear differences between the runs that those already established players have done and the runs that this particular person is completing. The main difference, of course, being that this particular runner is creating fake runs and attempting to pass them off as real.
Okay.
I have here a video of one of these runs, and I aim to show some of the clear discrepancies between this run and the genuine blindfolded runs of SM64 that are out there. When watching this run, it's important to note that the author claims not to have practiced blindfolded speedrunning much at all, and that this is apparently only his third blindfolded run. He claims to make up for this with the fact that he's been playing Super Mario 64.
So he claimed himself it's his only third attempt and he hasn't practiced much. Listen, anyone who's ever seen a blindfolded speedrunner of Mario 64, they all tell you the amount of time and insane effort that they have to put in to be able to even do a few stars, far less 70 star or 16. So right off the bat, it's like, you making that claim, you are crazy, bro.
64 for the past 3.5 years. However, it should be noted that despite the amount of time he has spent on the game, the best time on a run he has currently submitted is an 1826, a relatively mid-level time for 16-star.
Yeah, mid-level.
The first thing that actually put me off when I was watching this run was the fact that the streamer had both follow alerts and text-to-speech alerts on.
Let's go.
Thank you for the follow.
If you've ever seen a blindfolded speedrun before, you will know that runners pretty much always have these kind of sound alerts turned off.
Yeah.
Considering how important sound cues are when you literally can't see, you would think that he would do the same. However, this guy is so good, he apparently doesn't even need clear sound cues to do the run. Throughout this run, he also attempts multiple times to explain the strategies that he's been using, except there are multiple problems with what he's saying versus the things he's actually doing. He mainly claims to be using a combination of sound cues and muscle memory for most of his strats. Most speedrunners know, however, that visual cues in particular are just as important as muscle memory in many cases. It's very unrealistic to assume that anyone could just casually do a blindfolded run off of visual muscle memory alone, no matter how long that person has been playing.
I've tried to do stars. I can't do 1 star blindfolded. Like, even though I've played this game for years and years and years, even trying to do 1 star blindfolded is insanely difficult.
It's impossible almost, yeah.
Blindfolded speedruns often employ what are called
shameless plug, but I have a blindfolded video from like a year ago where I randomly attempted stars blindfolded, and it took me hours to do 3 stars blindfolded, and they weren't hard, easy stars. They were easy stars. It took me hours. But anyway, continue.
Normalized strategies. A normalized strategy is any strat that is done in such a way that the outcome is always exactly the same. In Super Mario 64, many of these kinds of strategies
this guy is fucking insane.
For example,
Nobori.
moving in a cardinal direction on a controller with notches, using 2 slow walks to ledge grab at the corner of a platform, or punching against a wall to push Mario backwards a fixed distance are all normalized strats. As you can imagine, these kinds of strats are often completely different from the ones you would see in a normal run, and require hundreds of hours to properly learn.
What?
And yet this person is claiming to have a 33-minute time after openly admitting to having little to no preparation. Keep that in mind when you look at the so-called blindfolded strats that are claimed to be employed here. The run begins in bob-omb Battlefield with Behind the Chain Chomp's Gate. Looking at a legitimate example by Bubzia, you can see that a consistent setup with clear intention is being used in order to get onto the Chain Chomp's pole. Note the use of a notched angle and fixed camera in order to guarantee a direct path to the pole from the corner of the gate. Comparatively, this runner seemed to have absolutely no normalized setup whatsoever. He takes what looks like either an intentional death or a legitimate mistake, and then tries again a second time. This time around, he seems to be using an almost completely different, yet still unnormalized setup to get onto the pole. The unexpected hit that he takes here from the chain chomp should have immediately thrown him off, and yet he is somehow still able to turn around and recover. The runner seems to be using intentional mistakes along with fake setups to try to sell the idea that he is actually blindfolded.
There's no way you could guess where the log is. That is absurd. Look at this.
Onto the pole. The unexpected hit that he takes here from the chain chomp should have immediately thrown him off.
He knows where the pole is. That is not even remotely possible in any circumstance. There is no audio cue. There is no setup. There's no timing thing that you could possibly do to perfectly move Mario and go in the perfect direction and then jump and look like you're about to ground pound right on the log. And then
yet
he probably purposely like has a run where he doesn't do it the first time.
He is somehow still able to turn around and recover.
And then he does it again.
The runner seems to be using intentional mistakes along with fake setups.
No way in God's name is that even remotely thinkable. Blindfolded.
To try to sell the idea that he is actually blindfolded. Many more of these will come up throughout the run. The run is already off to a suspicious start. However, the first absolutely massive red flag appears in Womp's Fortress, when the runner decides to opt for Owlless, a strat usually reserved for sighted runs.
No.
It should be noted how much the runner is talking during this very input-heavy and spacing-dependent section.
Did I check for saves? No, because I don't save the game.
Again, anyone who has watched a real blindfolded speedrun before knows how quiet runners tend to be during difficult sections. With how much focus and skill are required to complete a blindfolded run, it's an anomaly that this runner with barely any practice is so casually able to do a strat that no other blindfolded runner has attempted. And yet with absolutely no normalized strats, he seems to do everything with some relative ease. Looking at a run that this same runner has done without a blindfold, you can actually see that he can do the exact same movements, blindfold or not. His muscle memory must really be that good. On his first attempt, he is able to triple jump wall kick up to the floating island without giving himself any sort of indication where he is. With absolutely no normalization, he's able to attempt and fail Owlless 3 times before finally landing it a 4th time. He even comments on the fact that he should probably learn how to use the owl blindfolded.
Maybe I should learn how to just ride the owl blindfolded.
It's anyone's guess why he didn't opt to learn this much more consistent strat in the first place. In the next...
It's obvious that he just took one of his runs that he did non-blindfolded and just used that and pretends to play blindfolded. Because it's the exact same movement that he does going up to the star. It's just so... Yeah, that's all he did.
He goes for the traditional cannonless setup that you would normally see in most sighted runs. Once again, looking at a blindfolded version of this strat, there is a clear intention with every input using normalized movements and guaranteed setups.
Yeah, it's a setup.
Looking back at this run, however, the movement across the falling bridge and over to the piranha plant is extremely wobbly and very inconsistent. He then lines up next to the plank using these extremely small adjustments that have no audio cues whatsoever. Anyone that runs this game or has even tried this trick before knows that it's pretty precise. The only possible way anyone could do it blindfolded with the movement used here would be if they weren't actually blindfolded at all, and were instead using a distinctly visual cue.
My God.
The run only gets more and more suspicious from this point on.
This is so gross, bro.
Following a couple more extremely wonky and unnormalized setups in Cool Cool Mountain, we reach Bowser in the Dark World, the first Bowser stage. Here, only a true gamer such as this man would be able to somehow sidestep this Goomba, quickly make his way up the path, and then do this long jump to the next red, all completely...
What? Yeah. Bro, even decent players have trouble doing this long jump to that platform.
Quickly make his way up the path, and then do this long jump to the next red.
That long jump is not easy. Blindfolded, y'all.
Red, all completely blindfolded, and with absolutely no...
I'm just pissed off because he's better than me, bro. Yeah,
he then punches a Goomba that he claims he heard, even though there is no good way of gauging distance that precise with sound cues. It would have probably been both faster and safer to just keep walking forward anyway. Notice then the small adjustment he makes in order to be lined up with the final slope. Anyone who is actually blindfolded here would have almost certainly kept holding right with no adjustment. And yet this man somehow knew he was just a little too far down, despite having absolutely no real setup beforehand. If none of this was suspicious enough, then next we have the first Bowser throw. Looking at legitimate runs by Katoon and Bubsia, we can see that a setup is being used to slowly move Bowser into the bomb without even throwing him. For a faster strat, you can also toss him a little earlier with a slower spin, which provides a much larger frame window than normal to hit the throw. It should be noted that there is also a consistent way to throw Bowser at full speed, using a combination of pause buffering and a sound cue. When Mario is spinning Bowser, a distinctive whoosh noise will play. This noise will always play whenever Bowser faces north, regardless of the camera angle or Bowser's orientation when grabbing him. Furthermore, the whoosh will make a slightly different sound depending on what frame you pause on.
I'm so...
This is the strategy that Nobori implements, and it's how he's able to consistently pause buffer a B press to throw Bowser into the bomb. However, it seems like this runner couldn't be bothered
I'm so lost. I haven't read that much in my life.
to learn any of these strats. He instead opts to throw Bowser in the conventional way, while claiming to also be using a sound cue. Notice, however, that he also opts to turn his camera towards the bomb. As explained, turning the camera during spins does not affect the timing of any audio cues, and so it would be pointless to do this if the runner was truly blindfolded. It's pretty obvious here that he's just turning the camera so he can visually see when to throw. Moving on to Basement, we see another series of extremely suspicious and inconsistent setups. In Shifting Sandland, he is somehow able to get the Talon Star using a strategy only viable for visual runs. The amount of adjustment needed to long jump to the Fly Guy and twirl over to Klepto is simply too precise to be done consistently in a blindfolded run. That doesn't stop this guy, though.
dude.
He's able to do it first try with no issues. In Hazy Maze Cave, however, he reverts back to setups that might pass as
Wait, what was that about? What's he doing here? Why doesn't he grab the star?
In Hazy Maze,
What the fuck? Hold on. So he does all the movement perfect. He does this.
twirl over to Klepto.
This
is
long
simply
jump.
too precise to be done consistently in a blindfolded
Look at that long jump. You can't.
run.
Impossible.
That doesn't stop
But, like-
this guy, though. He's able to do it first try with
Then
no
he,
issues.
dude, I can't believe it. Okay, at first I thought that he just took one of his PB runs or one of his like really bad old runs and just put it on the stream and then pretended to play to it. But no, I believe this. I think it's obvious now. This guy actually created a run specifically to fake blindfolding it. Why? Because if this is one of his normal runs, non-blindfolded, then why would he ever just do this and not grab the star? He would just grab the star.
Watched this video last week, it's fucking hilarious. I don't think I have
Hilarious.
ever seen someone try to pull some stupid shit. T equals it's not his old run, it's a fake ass run acting the fucking moron.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for the resub, Mnemonics. Welcome back to Fitbit. He actually created a run specifically to fake it. Like, oh my god. The shit that people go through, bro. To get some fame. I mean, seriously, how much fame was he really gonna get from this? If he knows that we're just gonna catch him.
In Hazy Maze Cave, however, he reverts
Wait
back
until
to
Fire
setups
See?
that might
Okay.
pass as blindfolded to try to further sell the idea that he cannot see. However, the quote-unquote setups he is using make absolutely no sense. On the emergency exit star, he seems to have created some kind of fake counting system involving more unnormalized and inconsistent movements.
Okay. 1, 2.
Compare this again to Nobori's strat, which uses normalized movements along with the game's fixed camera option for even more consistent angles. Up to this point, the run has been extremely suspect at best. However, what happens in the second half absolutely destroys what little credibility it had in the first place. The last half of this run is so blatantly fake that it makes the previous 20 minutes look completely legit by comparison.
And yes. Oh, come on, let's go.
We now come to MIPS clip, in my opinion one of the most impressive sections of blindfolded success.
Yeah, maybe he can just see through his blindfold. I mean, that's probably what makes most sense. But still, why would he not grab the... Let's just keep watching.
16 star. Successfully doing MIPS clip in a real blindfolded speedrun requires an extremely precise setup involving walking into a corner with the correct camera angle, and then repeatedly re-grabbing MIPS to achieve the correct spacing on the door. This is one of the most difficult and precise sections in the entire run. In the castle basement, even the tiniest mistap to the left or right can mess up your camera entirely, breaking any setup you may have had. This runner, however, throws all of that out the window. To clip through the basement door, he basically just runs straight at it and ends up in the right spot. No setup needed. Remember that there are absolutely zero sound cues here. There is absolutely no way he can know how close or far away he is from the door, because he is using literal—
Hold on, let me put my camera closer so you guys can see my facial reactions of the crazy shit that I'm going through in my head right now, because holy balls, like, this is content. This is so funny.
Literally no setup here. The exact same is true for his clip through the 30-star door. Once again, with absolutely no discernible audio cues and no real setup whatsoever, he somehow either knows exactly where he is on the door, or just gets lucky enough to clip through it after randomly guessing. He spends around 30 seconds here walking back and forth along the door, and somehow is able to find the exact right spot to make it through. Somehow it still gets worse after this. At this point, he pretty much goes through the rest of the game without even thinking about what a real blindfolded run should look like. It really looks like he's just given up on trying to sell the illusion any further. He approaches the submarine in Dire Docks from a seemingly random angle, and then tries to make it look—
The human element came into play where he lost patience. He's like, alright, fuck it, I'm just gonna play now.
like he knows where he is by jumping at it.
What? What is
I
he?
slid off something.
Duh. Wait, what is?
Fuck, am I at the submarine? Yes, okay.
The fact that he even says this is strange to me.
Yes.
There is literally nothing else in this level that you can slide off besides the sub, so it doesn't really make any sense to act as if he had to figure out what he was sliding on. He needed to make it look like he had some kind of cue to go off of, and then did the absolute bare minimum to try to make it convincing. He then approaches the back of the sub as you would in a normal speedrun, but he ends up under the fin, causing the camera to go in an awkward direction. It should be painfully obvious how bad this looks. A real blindfolded runner would be completely disoriented in this situation.
Yeah, if you're fucked at that point.
There's no consistent way you could realistically recover from this.
Yeah, it's true.
Despite this,
if this happens, you're fucked.
To loop back around at the perfect angle and lands back on the fin, once again with absolutely zero sound cues or any setup.
Come on, man.
Nothing suspicious to see here. And then there's Fire Sea.
That was literally just muscle memory.
I didn't. Shut the fuck. I want to punch this guy in the face. I want to punch this guy in the face so hard.
Vicarious Tim gifted a tier 1 sub to Charlie Brown 64. They have given 2 gift subs in the channel.
Really? Thank you, Brian, wherever you are. Thank you for the gift sub, babe. I want to punch this guy in the face so hard. That was literally just muscle memory. Shut the fuck. I didn't even know this was possible. You could triple jump up to the pole? Never seen that in my life.
Literally just muscle memory.
Right. So after some more fake strats in Fire Sea, one fake Bowser throw setup, and some suspicious BLJ lineups, we finally come to what manages to be the worst part of the run by far. This run's Bowser in the Sky is pure gold. It contains such a large amount of glaring flaws and inconsistencies that it's insane that anyone could look at it and believe that the person playing could not actually see. He immediately starts the course with, again, completely unnormalized strats, moving through the course with small adjustments that have seemingly no explanation. He then commits what is possibly the most obvious and completely shameless move in the entire run.
Fuck, I didn't get that extra life.
I was laughing my ass off when I first saw this. Not only does he somehow know exactly where the 1-up box is, but he also knows exactly what direction the 1-up will go in once it spawns, something completely determined by RNG. Then, after chasing it on a moving platform for a completely arbitrary amount of time, he somehow knows exactly when and where to jump to the left. You don't even need to know anything about Super Mario 64 or blindfolded speedrunning to understand that what just happened is completely bullshit. Immediately after skipping the first 1-up, he messes around on the first rotating elevator, grabbing the next 1-up in the process.
I wanna cry.
Yes, okay.
All clearly a
Shut the fuck
calculated
up,
setup.
dude. I'm gonna slap him
After
in the
this,
face.
he once again makes an intentional mistake in order to make people think he's actually blindfolded.
I fell off. I can tell I fell off.
What the fuck is that alert? First of all, that's the most annoying alert I've ever heard. Imagine you're doing a blindfolded run and you're hearing doing. What? Literally the worst alert you could ever have. And you're blindfolded. You can't have a worse alert on Twitch, period. Far less blindfolded. Yep, that's helpful.
I can tell I fell off.
This is somehow the first and only time in this 40-minute run that he accidentally runs off of a platform. Except immediately after falling off, he somehow also knows to pull back to the right so he doesn't fall all the way down. Only then does he comment that he knows he's fallen down, again with absolutely no discernible sound cues.
There's no...
Following this, he traverses the wooden platforms and tries to go for yet another one up.
Oh,
There
God!
should be a life on one of these.
He clearly saw this one up with his eyes, but then remembered he was supposed to be blindfolded, so he passes it off by acting like he knew there should be a one up there and goes back.
They have given 74 gift subs in the channel.
Thank you, Unicorn. Appreciate it.
Back to grab it. Again, no setup whatsoever.
Ah, got it.
Watch now as he somehow knows exactly where he is on the spinning platform and knows exactly where the first pole is. Again, anyone who was actually blindfolded here would have probably just kept holding left and run off. However, this guy is able to make a completely random amount of adjustments to make it onto the pole.
What's he doing?
He then makes his way to the next pole and grabs the red, which he seems to be using as an audio cue.
Okay, I know what pole I'm at.
Then, immediately after jumping off of the pole that he knows he was just on, he attempts to use 2 bob-ombs on the next platform to further determine his position.
There should be like some bob-ombs up. Yes, okay.
This is absolutely pointless.
Yeah, I was about to say, what's the point of knowing where the bob-omb is? Hold on. Let me see what he has to say.
As he had already just verified where he was.
Yeah.
All he had to do here was hold forward and he would have reached the next.
Like, I can get it. If he didn't verify where he was, he could use the bob-ombs to know, okay, I'm here, so let me hold up, and when I stop hearing Mario moving, that means I'm against the wall. But he already fucked it up before.
Wall. At this point, he once again reiterates the fact that this is only his 3rd blindfolded run ever.
This is your 2nd blindfolded run, isn't it?
Technically this is my 3rd. The first one I did was like, I don't know. I don't remember how long it took me.
In the last 4 minutes alone, there have been countless points of extreme suspicion.
How do you know that... How do you know that the platform is there? I can't even smile anymore because my cheeks hurt from laughing at this guy.
In the last 4 minutes alone, there have been countless points of extreme suspicion.
Yeah, okay.
From the moment he enters the stage to the moment he enters the final pipe, there is almost nothing that could be
Bro, this
considered
guy
even
is
remotely
so
legitimate.
good.
However, the final Bowser throws that he does in the next 4 minutes are somehow even worse. He begins by grabbing Bowser using the normal visual method. Running around Bowser with a tight enough circle to grab him is something that heavily relies on visual cues to properly do. This is why in a real blindfolded run, a setup is used for the first 2 grabs that involves luring Bowser to a bomb from the edge of the platform. For the final throw, a separate normalized setup is used. And yet, after only 1 miss, this person is able to grab Bowser in the normal way, no problem. Note that after this first mistake, he does not miss a single tail grab for the rest of the fight. He then winds up for the first throw and misses. Once a throw is missed, Bowser will jump back onto the stage differently depending on where he fell off. There isn't a very good way to account for this, so the only real backup is to run off and try again from the beginning. But this guy doesn't do that. He instead goes for a re-grab and gets it, again with no setup and no sound cues. He hits the throw on his second try, again using the normal visual method of throwing. During his second throw, he stops and talks for about 30 seconds to explain how he first learned to speedrun
How often
blindfolded.
have you practiced outside of stream while blindfolded? A viewer is asking.
Actually not a lot. I feel like if I practiced more, I'd be a lot better at it. Most of this is just muscle memory and listening to the audio cues. But
Please don't tell me he throws it while
I've been
talking.
playing Mario 64 for 3.5 years solid. So like I could, and well, during streams I would like, because I knew before I did my first blind run,
Throw the Bowser! What is he doing?
blindfolded run stream, I would test myself by just like looking at my other monitor, or just looking at like
He just raised his hand. What?
away from the TV and doing the run.
He is once again constantly talking during a section that should take an extreme amount of focus to execute. And yet, he still figures out exactly when he needs to throw Bowser.
Oh, fuck yeah.
After messing around for another minute, he then gets another regrab, once again with no setup or any possible op.
Oh, fuck yeah. If I could punch my monitor and hit him, I would do it.
Oh my god!
Storm, thanks for the resub, babe.
During the final throw, he turns the camera not once,
queso.
but twice to visually aim at 2 separate bombs. He then goes on yet another explanation about how he's able to do Bowser throws the way he's doing them.
Yes, tell me, how are you able?
What I'm doing right now, the reason why it's taken me so long to throw him
Uh-huh.
is because I'm trying to time it based on like where my thumb is on the controller. On the
Interesting.
thumbstick,
Okay.
because
People G's in chat, guys, write this down. This is top tier information, all right? I'm learning.
that's typically like a
Oh,
right around
God.
where Mario is, like the direction that he's gonna throw. So I need it to be like, if I think the bomb is where I think it is, if the bomb is where I think it is, and I'm looking at it, then
Obviously, none of this makes sense in the first place.
Oh, you're looking at it. Right. Okay.
But he is directly contradicting himself here.
Two head.
Here he says something vague about using where his thumb is on the stick to know where Bowser is, which already makes no sense on its own. Except he also mentioned in his first Bowser throw that he was using sound cues.
Bowser is a little bit tricky. The sound cues on this is actually kind of hard. Okay.
This whole time, he's just been giving fake technical explanations to try to convince his viewers that he actually knows what he's doing. Except he also misses this throw because he was too far away to ever hit the bomb in the first
But he
place.
threw it perfectly,
Something he
though.
Probably should have known whether he could actually see or not. Maybe he's only pretending to be blindfolded so he can hide the fact that he sucks at Bowser throws.
The
Oh. Fuck, okay.
look, even like how he reacted there. He was like, oh, like he thought he was gonna get it and then realized he didn't. He's like, oh shit, okay. That's literally what that his reaction right there was like. Oh shit, I didn't get it actually.
He eventually does land the last throw,
course.
luckily avoiding all the fire on the ground and barely avoiding running off the edge. Nothing but pure skill and game sense. After the run is over, he is challenged multiple times by one of the only doubters in his chat. He is asked to verify that he can actually do blindfolded Bowser throws, but refuses to do even the simplest test to prove it.
So would you be opposed to doing Bowser in the sky and throws while turned around with a blanket over my head? You'll give me $50 if I do it turned around with a blanket over my head? No.
Despite the glaring flaws in this person's gameplay, he has somehow been able to convince all but a few of his viewers that his blindfolded runs are legit. Messages in his Twitch and Facebook gaming chats show that most of the people...
Oh, the suspense. That was crazy. Okay, I know this is fucking hilarious, but this guy looks exactly like Simply. It's literally Simply. Oh my god. Alright, go on.
that his blindfolded runs are legit. Messages in his Twitch and Facebook gaming chats show that most of the people watching him are completely convinced that what they're seeing is real. The best I can possibly assume in this situation is that he may actually be doing some of these parts at least partially blindfolded, only peeking through the blindfold whenever he's completely lost or doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, like
It's either
5%
that
of the
or
time.
blindfold is just completely see-through, and his only goal during the run is to make it look like he can't actually see. I almost thought this run was a joke, but it's clear from the way he's talking about his gameplay that he's completely serious. I can only speculate on this person's motives for faking these runs, but my best guess is that he's doing it for either the money or the views. It should be noted that during the run, the only way to communicate with him was to donate bits to play a text-to-speech message on stream.
Smart, with a
Considering
blindfolded
the
run.
run is fake, this just seems like a scummy way for him to take money from people. But honestly, for only 1 bit per message, it doesn't really seem that bad. If the amount was any higher, I would probably have a much bigger problem with it. But whatever small amount of money he did collect is probably the least of our worries here. There hasn't been a notable cheating incident in the Mario 64 community for a few years now, so I guess we were about due for another one. By faking this run, this person has not only made a complete mockery of blindfolded speedrunning, but has also detracted from the hard work of people who have actually put in the insane amount of time needed to do this for real. This particular run ended with a 42-minute time, however he claims to have completed a faster time of 33:23, a time which would be considered second place on the current leaderboards. When asked if he will submit the time, however, he claimed that he wants to take first place before he makes any submissions. I trust, however, that the mods of the category are smart enough to see that any run he submits will be clearly invalid.
Yes.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he never even submits a run, because he probably knows that it would never get verified anyway. If you happen to see this guy on Twitch or anywhere else, please just don't interact with him. I've intentionally left his name out of this video, 1 because I don't wish for anyone to harass him over this, and 2 because I don't believe that any cheater deserves attention past simply being exposed.
Smart guy. This guy is a god. Charlie Brown. Wait, is he in my chat? Wait, hold on. Is that you, Charlie Brown? Oh my god, he's in my chat. Charlie Brown, you are so smart for doing that. You are so good. Like, what you just said is so smart, because as much as this is so funny and I hate cheaters, blah, 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 I hate when people, you know, do the whole harassing thing and jump on the bandwagon and try to ruin their life and shit. Like, that is like as stupid as cheating, in my opinion. So I'm very, very proud of you for doing that.
I want to give a big shout out to both Katoon and Bubzia for their incredible help on this video.
Yes, please.
They helped to clarify a lot of questions I had about Blindfolded Mario 64, and this video would not have been as comprehensive without their inputs. Also thanks to both them and Nobori for allowing me to use their footage for comparisons. I've left links to all of their streams and YouTube channels in the description. Please check all 3 of them out if you want to see.
This guy? Hold on. This one. This fucking guy, Nobori? Jesus Christ, he's insane, bro. Oh my god. If you need to watch, just type in Nobori 16 star on YouTube and watch his run. Like, I can't fathom, dude. And the other 2 guys, Katoon, this guy, the one up left, Katoon, I actually spoke to Katoon a lot. I voice chatted once with him and Bubsy, I think. We spoke one time about just blindfolded speedruns and all that kind of stuff, and like, you know, all the work that it took and it takes. Insane amount of work they put into the blindfolded stuff, and yeah, it's awesome what they do, and yeah, it's a good thing you put them in the video because they need more stuff.
Some legitimate blindfolded runs of Mario 64, as well as many other games. These people have genuinely put in the insane amount of time and focus needed to successfully complete these runs for real. They're the ones who truly deserve it. If you please, you can also subscribe to this channel and check me out over on Twitch. My runs aren't quite as cool as these guys yet, but we'll still have some fun.
Holy shit! Holy fuck, dude! Oh! 18.6, dude! Bro, let's fucking go, dude! Holy shit!
I remember when I used to be excited, like when I got better times and stuff in my stars. The good old days. Shoutouts to Charlie Brown.
Some Bowser throws with a pillow over my face. I mean, but like, what would be keeping the pillow on my face?
Really? It's his face. His face is perfect because he looks kind of like Simply, and the face that he put here looks like Simply's face when he's like confused as well.
I mean, but like,
what is? Oh God! Thank you for the stud therapist. Welcome to the fridge, bitch. I love you. When he scratches his head, like, oh, that was great. Oh, okay. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Right. So, that video is great. Shout out to Charlie Brown 64 again. Go and follow Charlie Brown 64 in my chat and watch his content. Good stuff.